Hello, today I'm going to show you semi-flexible constraint, and for this purpose I created my project with two tasks. One is 3 days long, the second one is 2 days long, and they are connected. So we all know already from my previous video that the default constraint type is as soon as possible, because this project is scheduled from start date. So for today, I'm going to show you semi-flexible constraint with the project which is scheduled from start date, and so this will be start not earlier than constraint. For the projects, other projects, you can also choose finish not earlier than, but that will be the same thing. So let's start with start not earlier than. For some purpose, let's say the task 2 cannot be started before April 4th. So I will here choose constraints type start not earlier than, but at the same time I should set constraint date. And constraint date is Monday, 4th of April. If I say OK, you will see that the task will be moved, so it cannot be started before April the 4th. So if my task 1 will have 1 day duration, no matter it will be finished earlier, but the task 2 will not be moved to start immediately after task 1 because it has constraint which is start not earlier, and if you hover the mouse over this icon, you will see that the start not earlier is set. So here I can have a task 1 with 4 days duration, nothing will happen. 5 days duration, nothing will happen. But what if I say that task 1 is suddenly 8 days duration? When I hit enter, you will see that the start date will be moved in the future. Why? Because this is semi-flexible constraint, which means that task cannot be started before 4th of April, but it can be started after April the 4th. So once again, if I have here 3 days, the task will be started at 4th of April. But if I have 8 days, so naturally this task will be finished next Wednesday, which is 6th of April, and the task will start immediately after that, even after that task 1, even when the start not earlier constraint is set to 4th of April, because it says task 2 cannot be started before, but it cannot be started later. Now, let's see what will happen if we make a constraint like finish no earlier than. Here is the example like in my previous example. So task 1, 2 days, task 2, 3 days. Let me start here and go and say, okay, task 2 cannot be finished earlier than, let's say, 5th of April. Okay. You will see that the finish date will be moved to 5th of April. If I now say that task 1 will have 1 day duration, nothing will happen. If I have 3 days duration, nothing. 4 days, nothing. But what if I now say 8 days duration? The finish date will be moved. So the same thing like previous. The only difference is that when you set start not earlier than, task cannot be started earlier, but it can be finished, it can be started later. If I put finish no earlier than, task cannot be finished earlier, but can be finished later. So once again, let's say that this have 2 days, and what if I say now that this task will have 1 day duration? You will see it will be started later because finish date is set to not, that this task cannot be finished earlier than. So here, okay, if I extend duration, start date will be moved in a past, so to start earlier. But if I make this duration shorter, the finish date will not be moved. And that is the second semi-constraint task, so constraint type, sorry. So those are two, finish no earlier than and start not earlier than. Even Microsoft think that start not later than and finish not later than are, let's say, semi-flexible constraint. I will explain them in my next video because they are something like, from my point of view, hard constraint. And in my next video, I will explain them. So start not later than and finish not later than, but also must start on and must finish on. So stay tuned and have a nice day.